Some of the demos that I shared with Aaron, I was surprised the ones that he picked out. The song Serpents was a song that I thought was too intense and too aggressive. And I had never shared that part of myself musically before, other than just for myself, because a lot of how I write tends to be what I'm going through at the time, very self-therapeutic. So it's just to get something out that I don't have the words for yet. And that was a song when I was having a really hard day. But he encouraged me to lean into that feeling, and that this was a side that my fans would be open arms to hear, because it was all part of my arc, part of my journey. So I don't know if that song would have made the record if he hadn't encouraged me to do so.
Well, that one, I think, I guess I could instinctively feel that there was all this potential for it to be like this runaway train of a rock song where it's just like really intense and kind of, it just felt like, this is a cathartic rock song. But it needed to be formed, because I think it was not fully formed in its demo state. And so we kind of played it, and then that hook or whatever on the slide just felt like, again, just that's what I heard from the moment playing it for some reason.
In the writing of Serpents, it's definitely is about honing your own demons, and in describing it to people in the studio, again, I was very nervous about it starting to feel driven or too intense, because it's one of those things, I don't know if it's just about being a woman and being angry, or it's something that you have to be careful about because of how writers tend to describe women in music. But it was definitely more about overcoming something from my past in order to get to a better place. And I feel like everybody that recorded the song wanted to help me have a catharsis in order to keep moving on.
Serpents in my mind, looking for your cries. Everything changes. I don't want mine to this time.
It's also the way we were relating to each other, probably increasingly finding this electricity in her songs or something. It was that was the mood. So, and expressing the anger or kind of tension and feeling that were in the words, and how she was singing, you needed sounds that could do that. So the drums and the slides and the kind of overdriven feeling of that song. And yeah, it reminded me, that one, it reminded me of the best of the rock songs the National has written, where they kind of just play themselves almost. It's just same thing when Matt Barrick played to it, which is kind of instantaneous that it blew up as it did.
That's one of those songs that as soon as a real drummer could come into the fold, from the demo that I had in Serpents, you could hear my really terrible machine gun taps on the keyboard, and he was very sensitive to what I did in the demo form, and versus how he could interpret it in a much more elegant way.
You enjoy sucking on dreams, so I will fall asleep with someone other than you. I had a thought you would take me seriously and listen more. Serpents in my mind.
definitely encouraging me. He's like, "You're a rocker." He's like, "You don't even know it, but you're a rocker." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I mean, leading up into, the last couple of years, I was a classical guitar most of the time, and I think I went from a classical guitar to a hollow bodied, and I was intimidated to play a regular electric guitar until he had his Jag. And after he allowed me to use his beautiful Jag, I found one shortly after we made that record as a commemoration of making this record with him.
Yeah, I think it would have literally been on certain songs, like rather than track them on acoustic, I just would give her my Jazzmaster or my brother's Jaguar or something, and just, because we play these old, really beat up but beautiful guitars from the early 60s, and they just sound amazing. And like certain songs like Serpents or Warsaw or All You Can, like they just sounded, for her to track them on electric, it just felt transformative as opposed to strumming an acoustic guitar where it kind of immediately places it in something. And that was really liberating. And I also I remember wanting her also to improvise.
That definitely changed the way I wrote moving forward. And he definitely allowed me to lean into that angst that I feel like I really needed to express. And I feel like as a woman, he gave me permission to do so. And I think other people connect with that too.